Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Listen to this little phrase this morning, and I think we all should be kind of representative of what this means. The missing link to success is gratitude. As the law of attraction says, you have to be grateful for what you have to attract success to you. We should all be grateful, and it certainly will help in the future. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch. And here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot. Stand up and be proud with our Pledge of Allegiance this morning. Good morning, good morning. And a good morning to you. Oh, my goodness, I've got spring fever. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a big spring tire sale going on right now. And don't forget some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, hello.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
By the way, again, Linda, it is unanimous that you are not going to be allowed to miss any more lunch bunches because with a sore throat or anything, you will sing. You will sing.
Oh, that was so bad there would have been no sound.
God bless you. Thanks, Linda.
I felt so badly. I missed it, too. Oh.
Well, we can't wait to have the next one, so thank you much. I appreciate it.
Oh, bless you, Seb. Thank you.
All right.
You take care.
I will. Thank you. Nice lady right there. And what a great voice. Hey, it's time for the weather, and the weather brought to you by Roger and the crew. Hey, call Roger and really ask him if he gets up that early to open it up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Woohoo! K&R Rental, 256 South 600 west of Hayburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. They've got all the tools and equipment, and spring is here. Spring is here! Man, I'll tell you, I'm all nervous and excited. They've got all the power rakes and the rototillers, and they've got all the lawnmowers and the forklifts and the power tools. I'll tell you, they've got it all. Ready for you at K&R Rental, 256 South 600 west of Hayburn, on that Burley-Paul Highway. You can't miss them, 678-3122. Right now, here's the weather.
Wow, it's going to be a nice day today. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting partly sunny skies. The high, almost 70. 69 is what they're calling for the high today. Winds out of the east, southeast, at about 10 miles an hour. Be coming out of the south this afternoon. Winds could gust up to about 20 miles an hour. Tonight, we do have a 40% chance of showers in the forecast. Mostly cloudy skies with a low of 44. Tomorrow, 20% chance of rain showers in the afternoon, mostly sunny skies, at least for most of the day, with a high close to 60 by Wednesday night. Showers are likely with a low of 37. For Thursday, we do have a chance of rain showers off and on all day long. Some thunderstorms in the afternoon are possible as well. Cloudy skies, and a high of 45. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Range.
Oh, Gina, thank you very much. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. They've got all the tools and equipment you need. By golly, you better call them and get that job done. They are the best. They get there early at 7 o'clock in the morning on the Burley-Paul Highway. K&R Rental, 678-3122. Hey, by the way, too, don't forget Thursday is sale day at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Don't forget, Thursday sale day at 10:30, Burley Livestock Sale Yard. And the number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Burley Livestock Sale Yard, sale on this Thursday. Don't you miss it. By the way, I wanted to remind you, I've called some people around the area and talked to the Ericksons up at Elmo, and I've talked to other people around the area. If at any time you're listening to the program and the reception is not real good, and it has been really well as far as receiving it and listening to the program, let us know, because we're trying to figure out why we had a little problem, a couple of glitches come up. And I talked to Kim Lee, and he said, hey, keep a little survey and find out. And so let me know. And I would really appreciate it, like in a certain area, all of a sudden it's not coming through, and you're listening to it on a bona fide good radio, not some little 995 that has something from overseas that you can't even read the dial, but a really good radio. And let me know. Send those responses if you could. I'd really appreciate it. Zeb at the Ranch, that's ZEBATTHERANCH, then the @ hotmail.com. Let me know about that, please. Daryl's Cleaners, my. They have been there for a long time. 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. And I have taken clothes in there for a long time. They are the best. I have had the occasion with my past occupation of traveling all over the world, literally, with my professional announcing business, to have to use other dry cleaners in other parts of the country and or world. None stack up to the quality and the care I get from Kevin and Cindy at Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. And I urge you to not just chuck those winter coats in the closet or sweaters or whatever. Get them cleaned now and ready for next fall at Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Really, really nice people. Let's see, what else have I got cooking here? We're going to go to a story in just a moment about driving on the interstate, and I want to talk to you about that. Hey, Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. They get there early in the morning at 7:30 till 5, Monday through Friday, for all, and this is not bragging, this is a fact, all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. They can help, they will help. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Yesterday, my lovely bride and I had to take a real quick run up to Nampa, turn around, and then come back. It was one of those zoop trips. And the traffic on the interstate was unbelievable. And I don't know if you've experienced the same thing. Now, I admit up front, I'm getting older, and I don't drive in NASCAR races anymore. And yesterday, I just could not believe the lane changing, the exceeding even 80 by a bunch, no turn signals, and just darting in and out from lane to lane, like I said, it may be close to 90 miles an hour. And it was like some of the semis were playing bumper tag. Has anybody else noticed? It seems like, whoa, baby, you get in the middle of this and it's like at Daytona. And I know coming home last night was even worse. We came home, we went up there, zip, and then came back. We were on the interstate probably during the rush hour, from like 4:30 until we got through Boise, etc. Holy moly, I've never seen such terrible driving. And it was when you get in a lane, I told Deanna, I said, I'm staying here. I don't come heck or high water. I'm not leaving this lane. But the traffic, and there could have been at least 5 or 6 major pileups yesterday. And I just wondered if anybody else has noticed the craziness going on the interstate right now today. Whew. I know. I'm an old fogey. Don't forget Denny's Restaurant. Oh, my goodness sakes. Caller, I'll be right with you. Don't go away. 611 North Overland and Burley. Denny's Restaurant with menu choices that will knock your Tony Llamas off. Man, they are good. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, anytime, all the time, with really nice people that serve you the best and most delicious food. It's America's Diner. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. And we're so glad that we've made that the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Denny's Restaurant in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. I got to just quickly get one more word on, and then I'll have time to talk to you. I want to remind everybody about the risks of living at home, and you don't want to have those risks. You know, isolation, safety hazards of being alone, slipping on a throw rug or whatever. Ooh, and poor nutrition, missed medication. Hey, Pomerell Place offers seniors the ability for seniors to maintain their independence both safely and comfortably. I urge you to call and find out more. 677-8212. That number again, 677-8212. Pomerell Place in Burley, 1301 Bennett Street. You give them a call today. Caller, how are you?
Well, I'm pretty good, Zeb. It's kind of ironic you're talking about the interstate. I'm on it right now.
Oh.
Every Tuesday morning I run a load of cows to Jerome and come home.
Okay.
But driving on the interstate and on the surface roads, but I think the interstate's way too high. I don't care if it's for a pickup or a truck. 80 is way too daggum fast. I think they all ought to be the same speed. A semi and a car ought to be able to run the same speed, but 80 is way too fast. 70s hit pretty quick itself.
You know,
as far as the ignorance of other drivers, I've noticed you can tell an older driver from a younger driver. The older drivers tend to have a little more respect for other vehicles on the road. The younger generation, they don't care.
Well, I think you're 100% right, and I know I'm an old fogey, and other people might insert a different word for fogey, but I don't like going 80 or so, and I will go up to maybe 75, but when I'm pulling a horse trailer, you will not find me exceed 68. That's where I set the cruise, because I've got too much in horses, I've got too much in a trailer, and I've got way too much in a pickup, and these guys that go 80 and 85 with horses and a great big outfit, not this cowboy, I'll tell you that for sure.
Well, the only time that it's going to save you is if you're going over 200 or 300 miles, honestly. And then it's only going to save you, maybe 20 minutes? If you do the math. And I have ran 70 to Jerome and then turned right around the same vehicle, same amount of load, and I ran it at 80. And the only difference in the time-wise is 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's not so much Riley, it's not so much the time saving and the speed. It's the way they're darting out and changing lanes. And like yesterday, we were going through Boise and we just got past the airport headed this way, and traffic was sailing down the road, and there was a guy in a little blue pickup that absolutely changed lanes that I noticed at least 10 times, never used his blinker, like a water bug going back and forth. That's how you have major pileups.
I agree with you, and it's because they don't care. The only person that they're worried about is themselves.
Yeah.
And how they got to get to where they think they're more important and get to where they're going super quick. No flashing lights. You're not in any bigger hurry than I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know we got
lack of respect.
We got all the way down to Bliss and actually at Tuttle. And guess what is tipped over sideways on the road? One of those great big Army vehicles. I don't know if they call them half tracks. They got like 10 or 12 or 14 wheels or something. That is tipped over sideways in the road. And everybody had to go way out around and everything at about 5 miles an hour. I mean, holy cow, what's going on here?
When I was in the Army, we weren't allowed to go over 55 miles an hour in those Army vehicles.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. I can't tell you that.
I don't know either, but I'll tell you.
It's ridiculously scary. You got to be on your toes, even though if you drive slower and take care of yourself, driving slow in fast conditions can also cause a little bit of a problem, but I still think the road speed limits are way too fast on that interstate.
I have a tendency to agree with you. Thank you, Riley. I appreciate it. Drive carefully. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know. A lot of you are probably saying, well, that old goat, he just is old and he can't keep up with the flow. Well, that might be true to some extent, but when the flow is going zip, 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 back and forth, changing lanes without any kind of a signal. I had a guy go by me yesterday, and we were just pulling out of by Mountain Home, and he was behind me, and he zipped out, went past me, and then cut back in front of me again, and then he started slowing up. And then he took off and passed the truck ahead of me. I mean, come on, please. We're going to see some major pileups. All right, I'm done complaining. I'm sorry. Let's go and talk about our dear friends at Dino Septic Service. Oh, my God. It's kind of fitting we go to the septic service right after talking about lousy drivers. Anyway, don't forget our friends at Dino Septic Service. My goodness, septic tanks pumped, septic tanks and drain fields installed, backhoe service, water and sewer lines installed, everything for you. Fast, fair, friendly service. And all you need to do is call them at 436-6526 or in Burley 678-1638. Dino Septic Service. I'm telling you, they are good. We've had them work for us. They are the best, top notch, with that great big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Dino Septic Service. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. I want to remind everybody too about Airvana defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. And when you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better, so call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or visit them online at ramseysonline.com. Caller, thank you. Good morning.
Zeb, what'd you do? Sell your horse that run you in the water trough?
Are you going to antagonize me again?
Have a good day, Zebra.
Okay, buddy. Thank you. Leave it to Bob to always keep throwing up the past. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
You know, as I got up this wonderful morning, that wonderful voice of Kate Smith and then the Pledge of Allegiance, I admire you to no end. The fact that you do this every time, there is no excuse. You being late or anything like that, that is the first thing you do. And don't you ever stop doing it.
You know, I appreciate that, Keith. I want to tell you that you would be surprised, really, this would shock you, as to the amount of people that have called me, or even some have had the nerve to stop me personally at a store or wherever. And one person really, it got on my nerves. He came up to me and he said, when are you going to change that opening on your program? And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, oh, that old Kate Smith and everything. He said, why don't you get modern a little bit and throw that out? And I looked at him, and I got to be honest with you, I bit my lip for a few seconds. And I said, well, I'll tell you something, partner. I've got a lot of listeners, and if I lose you, it really isn't going to bother me. I'm not changing the way I do my opening.
Yeah. And back to what you were talking about the interstate.
Yeah.
I went to Twin Falls yesterday. My wife is my designated driver because I do have macular degeneration.
Right.
And she is a better driver than I am now.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Hasn't always been, but is now. But we noticed the semis are just not obeying the 70-mile-an-hour law.
Ooh, you got that right.
These are 6 and 7 axle trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of weight there. Now, if the more axles you have, and you probably know this, the quicker you can stop. I mean, so they think because they have these extra axles that they can stop quick enough, and I don't think so.
Well, I'm glad you brought this.
Miles an hour is what they're going.
Yeah. I will say that we had a circumstance yesterday where not one, not two, but three trucks were running right there at the rest area by Bliss, and I mean they were honking it down the road. And boy, I don't think 70 was even in the option. They passed me like I was standing still, and I had the cruise, like I told you, set. And all I did was just sit back and listen for the wind to kind of move me over on the road a little bit. They were honking at home.
Well, for all the years I was in business, I always had a truck, whether it be a 1-ton, hauling 3 cars, or one that hauls 9 and 10 cars. And I was always very cautious about how I drive. Never did get a ticket or anything that way, or get into an accident. But you've watched the other ones, and the other thing that really bothers me is when 2 trucks get side by side.
Oh, yeah.
And my truck's bigger than your truck, and I got 700 horsepower, and listen to me roar.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that contest is really that smart.
Well, it's not, but I remember many, many times when you used to go by my place with that great big semi loaded with cars, and you'd hit the horn, and you always were very respectful, and I appreciate that. Keith, have a great day. Say hello to your lovely bride. We'll talk to you later. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You do the same.
All right,
Bye.
sir. Thank you very much. Hey, don't forget Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Oh, yeah. I am so high on these people because they really helped me after the surgeries and everything. Oh, yeah. Put me back where I was going and having a good time. All you have to do is just call and make an appointment. I mean, if you're coming back from a surgery or an accident or whatever, please let Nick Greenwell and all of the physical therapists there help you. They can help you get back to being you. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And the number to call, 678-1191. Call them today without fail. Excellent people. Oh, and real quick, don't forget, you haven't got anything to do this weekend. I've got an idea for you. I would urge you to go on up to Salmon to the Lemhi County Fairgrounds and be a part of the Salmon Select Horse and Mule Sale. Ho, ho! This is a happening. They've got all kinds of Western equipment vendors, and they're going to have a great big bunch of parties and social hours and wolf howling contests. And I'm telling you, lots and lots of rope horse performances and mounted shooting, all of this with that great big Salmon Select Horse and Mule Sale at the Lemhi County Fairgrounds this weekend up in Salmon. And the number to call for more information, 208-756-2125. Don't miss it up in Salmon, Idaho this weekend. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. How many of you folks out there are aware of who Diamond and Silk are? They are 2 black gals that absolutely, right now this morning, and I am in entire agreement with them, they are so mad, and they are so frustrated, and they have every right to be for the way they have been treated in the United States of America with our First Amendment, which is being trashed by the evil of the Democratic left. I'm not going to say it any other plain way than that. The evil. What happened was Facebook decided that they would censor Diamond and Silk, and I have heard these ladies talk about politics and talk about political people for a long, long time. They're very forthright. They're very honest in their appraisals, and never once using any foul language, never once insinuating anything other than discussing the politics of the situation and what needs or should be done. Well, Facebook took it upon themselves to put a message out to the public that said they, Diamond and Silk, were bad for the community, and that's why they took them off Facebook. And at the same time, they leave the garbage left with communistic and socialistic values on to rant and rave, all the way from Planned Parenthood to whomever. And then they take off these two conservative ladies. There's no radical hate. There's no violence said. Nothing except a conservative message. And I'll tell you something. After watching them last night, and again this morning, talking about how they're going to go on offense right now, and they're going to fight back, which they should. And then Laura Ingraham last night going on offense now, and fighting back, which she should, and Sean Hannity and others. I've been there. I've had to fight the Democrats. I've had to fight their evil. And they are vile people that absolutely want a controlling interest in everybody's life, what you say, what you do, and how you vote. And I give kudos to Diamond and Silk. Keep fighting, gals. Keep fighting. Absolutely. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Bob Nonini running for lieutenant governor. Idaho needs Nonini, proven effective conservative leadership, and he absolutely has 25 years experience in local and state Republican politics, a traditional family values man, and absolutely pro-life. He's a conservative that knows and cares, and he wants to restore parental choice to education. Don't forget, on May 15th, vote for Bob Nonini for lieutenant governor, paid for by the committee to elect Bob Nonini, Lieutenant Governor Treasurer R. Scott Haug. All right, give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to talk a little bit about the FBI. I want to talk a little bit about President Trump's lawyer. And I want to talk a little bit about how this is getting completely out of hand. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't forget our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental. Sales, service, and parts with Old Juan at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin with Eli, and up in Nampa. Hey, I'm telling you, they got all the equipment. They've got the equipment rentals. They've got the retail equipment sales. They've got the Walker lawnmowers. Oh, and they got all the Bobcats. Don't know how to run one? They got a big sandbox out back. They'll teach you. Don't forget Berry Equipment and Rental. Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa, serving you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again. The way you were talking about Diamond and Silk, I was watching that also. But who in the heck does Jimmy Kimmel think he is? Does he think he's a god or something? Because his show is just got to be the most filthiest thing that, you talk about Bill Maher.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Kimmel's just as bad as he is.
Jimmy Kimmel is pandering to the left as a representative of left politics, and I honestly think there's something in the works for him in the future as far as what he wants to do politically. Now, he came out and apologized for vulgar Hannity jokes, and but it was a left-handed attack. It was a left-handed apology. He didn't really come out and apologize to Sean Hannity. Jimmy Kimmel, in my opinion, is a grade F comedian. I don't like the man. I don't like any of the late night hosts. I think they are just absolutely in the pocket of the Democratic left. I think they are absolutely so far liberal that they will never give a fair shake to anyone that's a conservative, and they're doing more than they should even try to denigrate conservatives and family values.
I always thought that David Letterman stepped over the line.
He did.
But he's a saint compared to these other birds.
That's a good way to call them, birds of a feather that flock together. I will not watch any of them, and if there are excerpts to kind of denigrate them in the news, I will do it. Jimmy Kimmel leads the pace, as far as I'm concerned, for a person that I don't like, can't stand, and anytime I get a chance, I will throw pepper at him.
You know, a left-hand apology is worse than no apology at all.
Absolutely.
Because you know that you're not sincere, and it's just a way to try to relieve themselves of the pain.
Well, how many times in your life, and I know I have, boy, I've had to sit down and take the knife and the fork to a proverbial crow and apologize. And one thing I've learned a long time ago is if you're going to apologize, stick your hand out and look the person in the eye and say, I was wrong, and I want you to know how sorry I am, and I certainly hope you'll accept my apology. Shake their hand, walk away, and shut up. And I think that's much more sincere than doing all this backstabbing and kind of walking in circles like Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, you know, there's always time to be nice, but I don't know why the other part. But in business, all the years I was there, the customer has always been right. Not in my mind, but in their mind. And so I would always listen to them. I'll quickly tell you a story about one time I sold this guy a pickup, and he took it up in the hills, and of course overloaded it with wood, and he blew out a tire. And then when he went to put the spare tire on, it wouldn't fit. Well, I don't check every spare tire on every pickup. It's up under there. Most of them have never been used.
Yep.
But this one did not fit. And he had to walk quite a ways, and I'm sure he mentioned my name several times along his journey. But the main thing is, he came in the next morning, and he was really hot. And I just let him go on for a minute or two. And then I said, what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
And he melted right there.
Yeah, I mean, Kimmel...
I not only got him a spare tire, but I bought him a brand new tire to put on his truck.
There you go.
I was in the wrong, and he was right, so most of the time the customer is right.
Yeah. I appreciate that story, and it just solidifies, if you're decent about it and you look people in the eye and say, I am sorry, I was in the wrong, that should be it, end of story. But Jimmy Kimmel absolutely did the wrong thing, and I don't have much respect for him. I never did. There you go, Keith. God bless you, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
But you can always ask him, what can I do to make things better?
Absolutely. Short of giving them a check for $1 million, that's right. I agree with you. Have a
wonderful day.
Thank you, sir. I want to talk a little bit, like I said, about the FBI, and then also about a goofy story in the Times News. Of course, there are a lot of goofy stories in the Times News. Don't forget, Nirvana is defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. When you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Nirvana is just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or visit them online at ramseysonline.com. Here's a story that was in the paper, and I am very livid about this, and I don't think it's right. I think it's absolutely crazy. There was a story in the paper this morning that said, and listen to the difference of the headline versus the first sentence of the story that was written by, it was in the Times News, and it was written supposedly by the Associated Press. The headline, caller, I'll be right there, stand by. The headline says, Idaho now allowing gender changes on birth certificates. And then the lead story says, Idaho is now considering applications from transgender people. This transgender craze or craziness absolutely is ridiculous. I mean, we have two genders. We've talked about this so much. male and female. And how does this probable change, what does it do to society to have somebody say, well, I'm a female, but actually I'm a boy, and then I've got all these other genders I can pick from? How in the world is law enforcement going to discern who is who and what is what? It's idiotic. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I want to invite everybody out to Senior Junction for lunch today. We're having biscuits and gravy and sausage and bacon and scrambled eggs and probably some potatoes.
Wow.
It'll be great. We need all the people we can get to help support the senior center. So come on out and enjoy lunch today or any day.
All right. Joe Taylor, a great spokesman for the Senior Junction Senior Center on Overland. And it sounds to me like that is the kind of a lunch that I would absolutely love. Biscuits and gravy and a lot of sub dishes. Ooh, sounds great. Joe, God bless you and have yourself a good lunch over there today.
We appreciate you and all that you do.
All right, Joe. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Joe Taylor, what a nice man, and absolutely food's great over there at the Senior Junction. You go over and enjoy. Now the FBI, and you know, I wasn't too vocal about this story when it first started with all the different investigations from the Mueller camp into Donald Trump and possible collusion and everything. I thought, you know, I'm going to sit back and see how the story progresses and see how the chips are falling. But, you know, this is kind of taking it over the top, I think. Now the FBI has raided one of President Trump's lawyers' homes and offices and took any and all info to obtain some info on Donald Trump dating back to 2006. Now, this is where I put the brakes on and I say, stop the bus, Gus. 2006? 10 years before Trump even thought or considered or even was a possibility that he would be a candidate for president of the United States? 2006? The Mueller campaign of their investigation, and I don't care whose feet I step on when I say this, is out of control. It's absolutely out of control, I think, my own personal opinion now this morning, for no other reason than they want Trump out of office. They want to do all they can to harass the man and absolutely ruin any possibility of success for this administration. That's how devious and evil I think the left is. And another person that I've kept quiet about, and I'm not anymore because I think he's absolutely milquetoast and not doing the job as Attorney General, is Jeff Sessions. I would say he's probably the most timid and weak-kneed person I've seen in that position, and I think it's about high time that he jumped up off his chair and shouted to the world that there is evil going on and it's going to be investigated. You know, I honestly feel I'm going to go against the so-called experts, which I don't think there are any. And I'd say that this morning or tomorrow morning at the latest, I just see President Trump get on the microphone and use the stage of any news network and fire Bob Mueller. Tell him to get out of Dodge City. He's done. And I know a lot of them would say, oh, that's just admitting his guilt. Oh, why, he's going to prove to the world by firing Mueller that he is as guilty as sin. Really? You know, if I were Trump right now with all the things that are going on and all the people that their lives have been ruined and their bank accounts have absolutely been depleted because they were forced and coerced into trying to protect themselves and defend themselves, I would basically tell the Democrats to kiss his Aunt Maud. If anybody needs an investigation right now, and I dare somebody to call me and tell me I'm wrong, it's the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation, Hillary, her staff, the emails. Holy cow, folks! But no, the lawyers are going to go back to 2006, 10 years before Donald Trump ever threw his hat in the ring. It's getting a little old, and it's getting a little stale, and it's getting extremely expensive. Time for the weather. And the weather brought to you by our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. They are the best at what they do, and they want to help you with your hearing health. Absolutely. They're right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. Two wonderful doctors serving you, Dr. Pickup and Dr. Mitchell, and you can trust your hearing health to them. They are good. Call for an appointment today at 312-0957. Right now, here's the weather.
Wow, it's going to be a nice day today. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting partly sunny skies. The high, almost 70. 69 is what they're calling for the high today. Winds out of the east, southeast at about 10 miles an hour. Be coming out of south this afternoon. Winds could gust up to about 20 miles an hour. Tonight, we do have a 40% chance of showers in the forecast. Mostly cloudy skies with a low of 44. Tomorrow, 20% chance of rain showers in the afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, at least for most of the day, with a high close to 60 by Wednesday night. Showers are likely with a low of 37. For Thursday, we do have a chance of rain showers off and on all day long. Some thunderstorms in the afternoon are possible as well. Cloudy skies and a high of 45. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, thank you, Gina. She does a great job putting that all together for us. And don't forget, Mount Harrison Audiology, the only independent, locally owned hearing health care practice in southern Idaho. Serving you. Call today, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Give us a call, 436-2244. Excuse me. And also, we'll talk about any subject you want to. I want to tell you that I saw some of our National Guard on the border already with their helicopters and with the ground crews and the radio work between the two with communications to, in just one area, they showed down in Texas the coordination effort, finally, of stopping illegal aliens from coming into this country. And I take great exception to an article that was put in the paper this morning regarding immigration and illegal aliens, never mentioning illegal aliens or illegal immigration, but it was Forum focuses on immigration impact. They never once used the word illegal. They didn't want to, I think, because every time they said, well, immigrants, immigration, etc. No, we're talking about illegal aliens coming into this country. We're talking about an insurgence of drugs and other high crime coming into this country, and it's got to be stopped. We have laws in this country. We have borders in this country, and I'm a little sick and tired of certain groups trying to be so compassionate they smooth over the truth. We're talking about illegal aliens coming into this country, and we're talking about how our borders, like any other country, should be absolutely honored, and they should be watched. And I was very impressed with the helicopter work, and in just a matter of moments from that helicopter taking off and going over the Rio Grande, I mean, they signaled and they stopped a whole bunch of drug traffic and the traffickers and a great big parcel of illegal alien humans trying to swim the river and walk the river, etc. And they said this is just the tip of the iceberg. Holy cow. I mean, all along the border, we have these problems every day. And I hope and pray that our National Guard down there is going to seal it off. You want to come here? I absolutely am in favor of legal immigration, not illegal. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, don't weaken on me. Give me a call, please. And, there was a story, like I said in the paper, and one of the subtitles of the story was anti-immigrant rhetoric. No. Every time on this program we talk about anti-illegal immigrant rhetoric, not immigrant. But they don't make a discernment here. The Times News, well, probably they don't understand. But they were talking about the narrowbouts and the dairy industry, and then I'm going to read some of this. According to the paper this morning, they said there's a large degree of rhetoric and attitudes nationwide and in Idaho that could be characterized as anti-immigrant. No! That's where they are wrong, and I get fighting mad over this. Anti-illegal immigrant. And Rick Narrabout said he hears anti-immigrant rhetoric frequently, and he said he thinks it's often born from a personal bias rather than facts. That is a bunch of baloney, Narrabout. We've got laws in this country that have to be honored. And it has nothing to do with legal immigration. Time for you guys to clean up the verbiage and speak correctly on this issue. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. If it wasn't for Donald Trump getting into power, this country would be so easy picking for socialism, communism, and Sharia law to take us down. And the destructocratic party that we've got right now would be willing to allow that to happen just to get Donald Trump out of power. This is how hateful these people are. They don't care about you and I or Donald Trump. All they want is that power back, and they'll do anything dirty, filthy to get it back.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that we're going to see many problems. We're going to see a lot of perilous activities that are going to happen. I think we're going to see, and I'm not stating that I advocate this, but I'm stating it can happen. I think we're going to see a civil war in this country of people being fed up, being walked on, being pushed into corners. And I think people are going to start fighting back.
Oh, I know there's going to be a revolution in this country. It's got to happen. It's happened before many years ago when the British tried to take us over. Now we've got this bunch trying to take us over, and people are fed up.
Well, why should people...
At the mall, even around here, my neighbors, they're fed up.
Yeah, why should people, Tony, sit back and not defend our Constitution? Why should we let people tear apart family values? Why should we let people denigrate what has been provided for us for well over 200 years? I am not going to let somebody take away my free speech. I'm not going to let somebody change the Second Amendment to where we're going to have a gun confiscation in this country. And for the people out there that are so closed-minded they can't see the forest because there's one tree standing in the way, these things are in the works by an evil left, and it's about high time we confronted the issue.
They've got so many foreigners in this country that don't belong here, and they're overpopulating, and the danger we're going to have is somewhere down the road, these people will be given the right to vote by the Democratic Party, and there won't be an American left in the White House or in any of the cities to control it.
I can't argue that point. Tony, God bless you, man. Thanks for your call as always. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
All right, sir.
Bye.
Thank you. Do not forget that right now at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, they're having a big spring tire sale. I mean, they've got all the tires with all the different tread designs for your cars and your pickups and your SUVs, your horse trailers, your boat trailers. They got them all. Man, oh man, a big spring tire sale. Along with the best in brake service with highly trained brake technicians and front-end alignment shocks and struts, batteries. It's all there. Right there at all 7 locations with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Yes, they are the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. What we're going to do right now is have a good word for Tommy Ahlquist, and then Old Wheels is going to take us up to CBS News. Paul, it's Nonini, not Noni. There you go. Hey, let's welcome everybody back to hour number 2. Zeb at the Ranch, of course, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a great big spring tire sale. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's also talk about some dear friends of ours at Western Way Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Way Services.
And, of course, don't forget Western Way Services has, of course, all the dumpsters in various sizes for you. Are you doing some spring cleanup and clean out, Bunky? Well, I'll tell you what, they've got all the dumpsters for you. All you need to do is just make a call at 734-6969. They'll deliver the dumpster. You fill it up and call them, and they'll come and get it. Western Way Services, always at your disposal. You call them today, 734-6969. By the way, too, don't forget our friends at Airvana, defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. And when you buy a new Lennox home comfort system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or go to their website, ramseysonline.com. Very, very honored and fortunate to have the very best of businesses and people on our program. And I want to highlight and feature again Joel Heward and Hanson Mortuary, his family, his staff serving you at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. When there's the passing of a loved one in your family, I mean, you just kind of throw everything up in the air and go, oh my, what do we do now? Please let them help, let them serve you with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Call the number 436-5636. That number again, Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636. And Joel Heward also serving you at Hanson Mortuary, along with Morrison Payne on East Main in Burley. I'm going to go to the phone line right now. I don't know if I've ever had this lady on my program before. I'm getting old. My memory is getting shorter. And I want to say good morning to a lady that's with the Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite. Brooke McGowan, how are you?
Good morning, Zed. I'm well. How are you today?
First of all, let me say how much I appreciate at the last minute you coming on the program to fill a vacancy I had, and I really do appreciate that, Brooke. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the honor.
Now, give me a little background on this story. It's not that I'm naive or not informed on this, because I've been following this story for the last couple of days in regards to a teacher's strike in Oklahoma, but also something else raised your ire a little bit, and that's Betsy DeVos, the Trump education secretary. Give us kind of a thumbnail sketch of what the problem is and where you come in.
Sure. So we are a group of grassroots activist leaders, completely 100% voluntary, who have responded to Oklahoma's legislature raising our taxes to historic levels on March 30th, was when the bill was signed. And really, we're upset about the tax hikes because they haven't done their due diligence. What I mean by that is we've been demanding structural reforms in all of our state agencies for decades. Every time you turn around in Oklahoma, you find a new scandal in some of our agencies. Just last month, it was with the the OU Medical Center and VA payments. Last fall, it was with our health care authority where they had doubled books. They've been cooking the books to embezzle $30 million. Prior to that, we had Department of Tourism and then Department of Agriculture. We're just set up taxpayers because our legislature and our bureaucrats are not doing their job.
Wow. I think we have a mad lady on the phone, which I really enjoy.
I'm a happy warrior, Zeb. I'm just a happy warrior.
No, and I respect that because I'm the same way. I'm a very conservative talk show host, and I let nothing or anyone get in my way of proving my point. So I think you and I are going to get along great. Now, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this, Brooke. How do you feel and how do you think that the story in Oklahoma would apply elsewhere across the United States? In other words, are you trying to do something, say something, or correct something before it turns into a cancer and goes elsewhere?
Well, we can only control what we have here, obviously. We're not really in control anymore, which is why the people have risen up. We are going to push forward what our Constitution allows, something called a veto referendum. So we're going to try to veto the tax hikes that took place 2 weeks ago. Now, that doesn't mean the teachers won't get their raise, because here's the thing, Zeb. They got their raise, and then they strike. So it looks like it's an agenda-driven event, an agenda-driven movement, because they got their raise of $6,100 on average, and then continued to push and then strikes the following Monday. So really they didn't have, what they're saying now is, first it was we wanted $10,000. Last month it was $5,000. We gave them $6,100, and then they wanted $10,000. So what we're seeing is what we've also watched across the country, which started in West Virginia, and they got a 5% hike. We just gave our teachers a 16% hike, and then they strike afterwards, mind you. But also in Kentucky where they're going after the pension, and also in Arizona. So my belief is this is an orchestrated push by the resistance, and our poor teachers and kids are just the pawns of the far left.
Okay, but now let's be more definitive on this, Brooke. I do know, and I've followed this story, that the teachers were given a raise of, and I'm just going to talk in round figures, of about $500 a month. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not a bad raise all of a sudden, is it?
Well, we think it's a good raise. $6,100 on average for a mid-level teacher is a pretty decent raise. I've never gotten a $6,100 raise per year.
Okay, so then they get the raise, and then they're still upset, and they're going to go on strike. And the only people, in my opinion, that are really suffering right now, and please jump in and tell me I'm wrong, are the students, the educational value, this time of the year with graduations and everything. Am I wrong?
No, sir, you're not. Not only the students, but the parents who are still scrambling, trying to find something for their child on the 7th day out of school. Today is the 7th school day that they're not in school. And they expect this to last as long as it takes, is what we're being told by the OEA president, as long as it takes. And really what they're after here, Zeb, is not just more of our tax dollars, but what looks like wealth redistribution. We have a capital gains tax deduction in the state of Oklahoma that was passed many, many years ago that helps out small businesses, farms, and ranchers. They're going after that now. They're saying they're going to stay and strike until they get our capital gains tax deduction repealed.
Okay, but now, Brooke, did these teachers or did they not sign a contract with the school system to work and teach and be a part of the school system for a certain period of time for a specific wage? If they've broken their contract, why can't they be fired and find somebody new?
Well, because the population, yes, they did sign that back in August, but the popularity of this movement is so great, and we don't have the press on our side. I can't tell you how many interviews I've done with national press, and they're not giving our side of the story at all. Even our conservative senators have gone into the studio and have not gone on the CBS this morning. They've been called in to go on these interviews, and then they're not given any airtime. So our side of the story is not being told. What's being told is that the teachers have been abused for a decade and not gotten a raise. Well, that's not entirely true. They have gotten step raises. But Oklahoma's economy is tied to the oil here, and our oil has dropped. 10 years ago, in 2008, oil price per barrel was $140. So we had a whole lot more money going into education. Yet the rest of the country was suffering with a stock market depletion, people losing their 401ks. Stuff was happening in the country that wasn't exactly happening in Oklahoma. What the teachers are saying today is, we demand you go back to the 2008 education dollars, and we just simply can't do that. Oil is not $140 a barrel right now. Our economy can't sustain it.
Well, you know, and I've been in a business for 45 years to where everything I did was on a contractual basis. I've announced rodeos and special events all over this United States and Canada, and for that matter, the world. And if I sit down and I negotiate a contract with a committee or a personal group of people that want to hire me, and I sign on the dotted line, that's what I'm committed to until it's up for a renew on a new contract, and then I can negotiate a higher price. I don't have a lot of sympathy with somebody that signs a contract and then goes on strike demanding more money.
Right. So, yes, that's where we sit right now. They are demanding. They did sign those contracts. Parents are getting really upset. There are all kinds of rumblings about looking into charter schools. I see parents talking about, hey, I've had my children home for 6 days and I like it. I'm going to just pull them out of the district and homeschool them. I'm concerned that really public education is going to rue the day that they decided to do this to Oklahoma parents.
What is the answer? And by the way, if you're on a cell phone, Brooke, please hold that really still right by your mouth, because sometimes it fades in and out, so help me on that a little bit. But what are the answers as far as what you're concerned with your organization? What are the answers, A, B, C, D? What needs to be done right now?
Well, A, we need to continue with our veto referendum. We're going to veto the taxes that were signed into law 2 weeks ago. We're going to veto that, and we're going to ask the people to decide if that's how they want to fund education in Oklahoma, is by raising their taxes. That's what our Constitution says. It has to go to a vote of the people. So while we are interested in repealing it, all we really want to do is put it on a state question in November to let the people decide. So that's our first effort. Our second effort is, and can you hear me okay?
It's a little bit faint, but keep going. You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So our second effort is, this week is our filing period for our legislature. Everybody in the House of Representatives is up for re-election unless they've termed out or deciding not to run. And half of our Senate is up for re-election unless they've termed out or decided not to run. So we are targeting particular races and finding candidates to oust these tax and spend liberals, whether they're Republicans or Democrats.
Okay.
That's our second effort.
Okay, now let me interrupt you there for a moment, Brooke, because I got to ask. I know my engineer's wondering about it, too. Are you on a speakerphone? Is that the problem?
No, I'm on my headset. Hold on, let me put on my phone.
Yeah, the phone would be much better. I hate to say that to you, but...
Can you hear me now?
There she is, the wonderful Brooke McGowan. I can hear you. That's much better.
Sorry, I couldn't speak in my office because I get too loud, so I had to come outside.
Okay.
Sorry.
But you're coming through a lot better now. You were at point B. Go ahead to the next point, please, as what needs to be done.
Sure. So we're collecting candidates, and this week they're going to file, and then we're going to support those candidates as they attempt to oust all of the tax and spend liberals.
Okay.
So that's our two-pronged approach. Thirdly, we'd like to really warn red states across the country that this is happening. This is a wave that's making its way. I believe it's an anti-Trump wave. I think that they started with gun control back in February, and they had the March for Our Lives event, and now they're going after red states for teachers and really drumming up the emotionally charged movement that is happening in red states. If you think about some of these red states, we're low on the cost of living scale. So when you continually tell a teacher how poor they are, they're going to believe that. We're low on the cost of living in Oklahoma, and we also have a lot of Medicaid fraud. So the third point is, we're actually asking the state legislature and everybody else to demand audits of all of these state agencies. Medicaid fraud in Oklahoma, 57% of every baby born in Oklahoma is on Medicaid. There is a limit that they can qualify for Medicaid, and the limit is $60,000 for a family of 5. Well, that's twice the median household income. So there are systematic and structural problems in all of our agencies. We have 150 state agencies that all have hired a lobbyist, which means we pay for it, to go to the legislature to demand more money. So we're actually paying for our own demise with tax.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're pretty upset, as you can probably imagine. We have a committee or a commission on boll weevil, which should be under the Department of Agriculture. The problem with state agencies and big government is it never cleans itself. It never uses the scalpel to cut themselves off. It's just grown into an entity that we can't even sustain anymore.
What has been the conversation, and I don't mean to beat the dead horse here this morning, but what has been the conversation with your organization and perhaps some of the teachers involved? Are they also adamant that they can feel justified in going on strike after you've provided a $500 a month raise to their contract, $6,000 plus a year more? How do they feel justified in doing what they're doing? What do they say to you?
They say it's not enough. And so we've asked, well, how much is enough? And we've been told, we'll let you know when we get there.
Oh, my.
That's wealth redistribution in our state.
Absolutely. And, I go back to the simplified story that I gave. They signed the contract. They were a willing worker on that contract for a wage that participated in what they did for the school district. That's how they would be reimbursed. I feel no compassion for these people, regardless of whether they're teachers or any other walk of life. When you sign a contract, you do the job. When you renegotiate the contract, that's time for a kind of a sit-down and negotiation on higher wages.
Well, there's no question here, Zeb, that our education funds have been misappropriated, whether that's at the school district level or it's actually with the Oklahoma State Department of Education. The money is there, and it's not getting to the teachers, and it's not getting to the classroom. We feel like their ire is right, but it's misdirected.
Absolutely.
They're standing at the legislature demanding more when they need to be at their own school boards and inside their own districts. But, that's like punching your boss in the nose, and they're not going to do that. Plus, they have the unions getting them all riled up and sending them, dinner overnight and all these overnight sleeping parties that they're having in certain school gyms all across the city, where teachers have come in from all over the state and are being fed by the AFL-CIO and the American Federation for Teachers nationally and the NEA. So big union is behind this big party that they're having.
Absolutely.
And for our wealth redistribution.
Absolutely. But, I know Oklahoma really well because I've announced all the big special events back there in Oklahoma, at Oklahoma City at the fairgrounds, when the national finals was there before it left for Las Vegas. I did 30 years with the World Championship Quarter Horse Show in Oklahoma City, and I've got a lot of friends all over that area back there. And I know a lot of families, and I know a lot of families that have kids in school that right now they must be tearing their hair out because at this time of the year, seniors with their final testing and everything to go on to college, and others progressing to a higher grade. This must be total chaos back there.
It really is. The proms are moving on, and it looks like sports events are still happening. But I'm hearing from parents telling me that while they have also the standardized testing is occurring right now. So parents are being contacted to bring their children to the school these 2 hours of the day. And the parents are getting angry, and they're saying, no, in fact, give me the form to opt out of state testing, which is really, that hurt. I don't want this standardized testing in our state. But if you don't do it, then you don't get the federal funding for it. So we're just kicking ourselves. We're just cutting off our nose to spite our face every single day with this walkout.
Is there a light at the end of the tunnel, or is it a train coming at you head on, Brooke? I mean, are there answers that can be negotiated before this thing goes too much longer?
I'm not certain. I hear from people who are like some police officers that are terrorism task force working downtown at the Capitol, that the West Virginia union that pushed that push is in Oklahoma right now and here to stay. Really, that's their push, is that we're here to stay until we, repeal your capital gains, until we go after your GPT needs to be raised, which is the gross production tax on oil. They also want to add tax brackets for higher earners. They wanted to wind cap. They've got ball and dice, which is, we have gambling here because we have casinos, so they're adding some some taxation to that. They want to repeal the hotel-motel tax. We had a hotel-motel tax, a part of this package, and they pulled it out because once it got out there that we were going to be the highest tax city, even higher in hotel tax than New York City. And Oklahoma City is not a destination city. They pulled that tax out. Well, the teachers are now demanding that they put it back in, which means our hotel-motel tax is going to be somewhere around 19% in Oklahoma City.
I'm almost
able to get conventions. We've built a huge convention center, and we've got hotels attached to that. This is going to hurt our economy in grave ways. Our gasoline is going up by 6 cents per diesel gallon and 3 cents per gas gallon, and I see a lot of people saying, oh, you're crying over $30 a month. Why don't you care about children? How come you hate education? That's not the point. Just because our gas has gone up and it's going to affect my gas tank doesn't mean that's the only place it's going to harm us.
Absolutely.
We've got convenience store costs that will go up. There's grocery costs that will elevate. You know, these things trickle down to everything across the board, and it's not good for Oklahoma middle-income and lower-income families.
All right, real quick, Brooke, and I'm sorry, I'm almost out of time. I wished I could talk to you a little longer, but I'm going to have you back. Answer this. Did you not see this coming? I mean, this kind of an orchestrated approach and very well organized. Did you not see this coming in time to maybe nip it in the bud? I mean, what happened here?
Well, we really thought that with their tax, we weren't happy about the tax raise, and we were going to respond to it one way or another, but we really thought when they got their raises and that tax hike went into effect that they wouldn't strike. But they've proven that they have other agendas involved. So, yeah, I mean, we've watched what happened in West Virginia. As soon as they got their 5% raise, they went home. They haven't gone home here after 16%.
Wow.
So we think this is a way of kind of moving across the country. We would really warn red states that it's coming your way, too.
All right. Well, now, listen, you put my name down on your list, and anything that happens, call me on this story. I'd like to get it back on the air. Brooke McGowan, thank you for being on the show this morning on behalf of the Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite. Thank you very much. God bless, and I'll be in touch.
God bless you.
Thank you. Very, very nice lady. And unions. Don't get me started on unions. Oh, I'm going to mention this tomorrow to Dave Bigo, and then we'll listen to him and see the smoke curl out of his ears. Boy, I tell you, we can have quite a talk about this. Thank you very much, Brooke McGowan. And right now I want to remind everybody about Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn, 678-1177. Oh, they're a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them all, absolutely, and can take care of them all, keeping them healthy. Absolutely. Don't forget to proper identification for your dogs and your kitty cats. Hey, if you want them, you're going to take care of them. Make sure they've got identification so that if they become lost or whatever happens, you can possibly get them back. So, talk to Ark Animal Hospital about what you need. Ark Animal Hospital, as I said, over in Hayburn, 678-1177. They have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Really good folks. Okay, let me see what else I got to do here. I'm running a little bit behind. Wheels over at the station, if you would, please. This word for Bob Nonini.
Bob Nonini, candidate for lieutenant governor, a principled conservative, successful small business owner, legislator, and leader in Idaho. Bob Nonini has earned a 100% rating from the American Conservative Union and received an A+ rating from the National Rifle Association. Bob Nonini, Idaho roots, conservative values, proven results.
Hi, I'm Bob Nonini, and I'm passionate about becoming your next lieutenant governor. Being an Idaho native, I grew up understanding the values of hard work and dedication. Overzealous federal regulations have driven natural resource-based industries out of Idaho. As lieutenant governor, I will advocate for legislation allowing these industries to responsibly operate, providing jobs and continued economic growth. Idaho needs strong leaders who allow their faith, experience, and integrity to do what is necessary in creating a better life for our residents. Experience matters. Experience counts. The choice is clear. Idaho needs Nonini on May 15th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Bob Nonini for Lieutenant Governor. Treasurer.
Thank you very much. I did it again. I jumped in on him the other day, and I apologize for that. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Hello, Jeff Bronson and the rest of the crew. It's time to spruce up for springtime, and they've got all the furniture, anything you need right there at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Sofas, love seats, recliners. Oh, I love my recliner. And, of course, all the carpeting and the luxury vinyl planks. Everything. You stop in and see them today. And bedroom sets, mattresses. Oh, they've got all kinds of great mattresses for you at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see those good folks today. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Really good folks. We're about ready to go see the lovely Miss Vicky in a minute, but right now I also want to remind you about Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. My goodness sakes, they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4, serving you with absolutely the best in four-wheelers and side-by-sides and all the accessories. Oh, my goodness sakes, go on that showroom floor, and you're going to be absolutely amazed as to how they got everything in there for you to pick out the one you want or the ones you want to go have some fun. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24, like I said, between Rupert and the World, and also with the best doggone service department around to keep you running. Don't forget them. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and I believe we have the one, the only, the lovely Miss Vicky of Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. We're going to have spring for a couple of days again.
Yes, we are. By the way, I want to tell you something right up front, Vicky, that all of a sudden, if you hear me leave and you hear dead air, it's because I've been having trouble with this chair. And occasionally it skips the notches that it's supposed to hold for the elevated position, and I go way to the floor, and it's happening right now. I'm getting lower and lower and lower.
Oh, fun.
Well, you're celebrating 21 years in business, 20 wonderful years of smiling and serving the public. I'll bet you're having a ball.
Oh, we are. This has been a spring that's just been so much fun, especially when the wind blows like it does. I mean, you know, Saturday night it was like nice and quiet, and all of a sudden, boom, we had wind, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I have plastic flopping. This is not good.
Oh, you're not kidding. It made a mess out of everything, didn't it?
It hit so hard and fast it was kind of scary, but we managed. Thank God we was up on enough ladders that we managed to get her under control. So
you know,
we're still here.
Putting plastic back up on your business or anything in a windstorm is comparable to waiting until the hay's been delivered and you decide on the windiest night to go out and put a tarp on it.
Yep, that's exactly the same thing. Yeah. It's real fun. That wind does a real number to things like that.
You know, and I
right off the ground, it pulls you up off of ladders. Yeah. I'm like, okay, this is fun now. We're having a good time now.
And I personally don't like to be a fat guy on crutches imitating Mary Poppins.
Yeah, that's kind of a scary feeling. So, but anyhow, we're still here. We got them all taped back down. We're good to go. We're waiting for the next one, which is supposed to be Thursday. So. Supposed to snow Thursday.
Oh, my goodness. Now, what are these poor little garden plants? What are they doing? Are they all huddled together and masses going, oh, my goodness, warm it up?
Well, they're the ones that are out are hardy enough. They've been through this enough times. They're probably going, oh, God, here we go again. But if anybody's been planting, hopefully nobody's got tomatoes or anything out in this because it's just way too early for that kind of stuff to be outside. If you got a greenhouse, you're in good shape, but a little too early for all that. But there are some things. Strawberries like to be out. You know, they do well. They transplant out nice in this kind of weather. They like the cool, get rooted in, get ready for the heat. The raspberries, things of that nature can go out. And we are getting a load of, as today about noon, we're going to be having a load of shrubs and small trees in.
Okay.
So, the shrubs, things like that will be able to start going out. Perennials can go out right now that are, leafed out and doing fine. I mean, roses can go in. Our roses are here. We've got a nice big selection of those. They're leafed out, and they would like to have a home in someone's yard, I'm sure.
Let's talk strawberries for a few minutes and raspberries. What about peaches? Is this area conducive to growing really good peaches?
You can grow, if we have a fruit year, peaches will do fine.
Will they?
It's just those late frosts that have a tendency to get the peaches.
Oh.
Or, sometimes when we get those early warm-ups like we did in January and February and everything, tried to push out a little early, and then the hard freezes hit them. But there's a lot of times we have peaches. A lot of times the trees set on so heavy that it almost breaks the branching down.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yes, if we have a good fruit year, peaches, plums, apples, all that kind of stuff will work fine here.
Okay. But you really have to hope and pray that the weather is conducive for growth, right?
It all depends on our weather situation, on good old Mother Nature and how she treats us about this time of year. Because the peaches will be, if they're in bloom and we get a hard frost, that takes care of all of the peaches.
Okay.
And pretty much anything that's blooming. Apples are a little tougher, pears are a little tougher. Peaches and cherries and apricots get nailed pretty easy if they're in bloom.
Well, and right now is a perfect example of getting nailed, if you will. Yesterday we were up in Nampa. We had to run up there yesterday. It was like 68 degrees, and today it's not too bad. And then all of a sudden, like you said, on Thursday we might see snow. Holy smokes! If you were some poor little plant, you wouldn't know what to do. Go down deeper in the dirt or pop your head out.
Right. Well, that's just it. And a lot of the trees and stuff, if they come out too early, the shrubs and stuff like that, if they start to open up bloom, open up their buds and stuff, and they get froze back, and it knocks them back, it's kind of like a computer. They have to kind of reboot completely and come back about 2 times of that, and it takes about all of their energy away from them.
Huh.
And then that's when they it'll end up killing them.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Well, now, what about...
don't want them doing that too many times, 2 to 3 times, and then they're just weak.
Yeah.
Their energy's spent, and they just, a lot of times then that next frost will just get them.
Well, plants and people, they're quite a bit alike in their personalities and what they like and don't like, aren't they?
They are. They're a lot the same. Just have to, like I say, weather conditions are the real problem child for most of your plants, your trees, your shrubs, your gardens and stuff like that. It's the wind and the cold weather that can get you in a lot of trouble.
Okay. So now let's take it from, I got one other question. What about bulk seed? Do you have bulk seed available over there?
We have all the bulk seed. We have the biggest bulk seed display basically in southern Idaho all the way to Logan, from Ontario to Logan.
Wow.
So, yes, we have seed spuds in. All the varieties. We have all of our onion sets, onion plants, and then we have all the bulk corn and beans and peas and all your basic vegetables that you need.
Okay, and all the onion plants, and I mentioned this last week, and somebody thought I was kidding. They sent me a little note. Are you serious when I mentioned huckleberry potatoes?
Yeah, we do have huckleberry gold potatoes. And they are a real good one. We don't have a lot of them. They're a new one for us this year, but we do have the huckleberry golds.
Okay.
And I've tried them. They've got a good flavor. They're purple on the outside, and they're real light, kind of a golden yellow on the inside. Got a real creamy texture, and they're really good. Different, but really good.
How many, I'm going to put you on the spot here, but how many varieties of potatoes are grown in the state of Idaho?
Oh, there's getting to be more and more and more. Right now we sell, I think we've got about 7 varieties right now that we sell, including the russet Burbanks, because we have 3 different reds, the russets, the the Yukon Golds, and then we have the German Butterball, and then the Huckleberry Gold.
Wow.
And there's still 4 or 5 other seed spuds that we can get in.
So now you're telling me, with your expert taste testing, that if we put 7 different potato varieties in front of you, you could tell the difference in each one?
By looking at them, yes.
No, you're not going to cheat. I'm going to put a blindfold on you.
Well, I don't know. Red potatoes all taste like red potatoes, as far as and I love red spuds. But
So
I can
do
tell
I.
the difference between red spuds and russets.
Okay.
And I can tell the difference between the Yukon Golds because they're yellow.
Well, yeah, but you're cheating. I said I was going to put a blindfold on you. You can only use your taste buds to tell me the difference.
Oh, okay. Well, I could probably break down most of it.
Okay. What we ought to do is schedule on the program, having you over here if you can take time away, and we'll have all the different 7 that you're aware of, and we'll have a taste test on the air.
Well, that'd be good. You really want to put me to the test, don't you?
Well, it'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I would.
But what else should they be doing right now? I mean, supposing somebody's only got a space for a little bitty tiny garden, or they want to start planting the flowers to beautify their home for the springtime, should they wait maybe this week to see if maybe the snow forecast is having its last hurrah?
Well, it's like I say, about the main thing that's ready to go in right now would be like the pansies are great in this weather if you want that early spring color. They're really colorful and blooming nice. The perennials, I've got another order. You know, we've got more perennials coming all the time, but a lot of perennials are ready to go out and give you that spring color. As far as your petunias, geraniums, and things like that, still way too early on those type of bedding plants. So you're down to flowering shrubs, or go into the the perennials and that for flowers. As far as your gardens and that go, you've got your cold crops. Your peas I love to go in right now. Radishes, lettuce, spinach, all of that type of stuff. Cabbages, they all go in good right now. They like the cold weather and do really well in it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of things. You can get the spuds are ready to plant now.
Okay.
And, there you could put potatoes in now. So,
all right.
Your corn and stuff like that, but the ground temperature is not warm enough. It's not going to do any good. It's just going to sit there and rot. So just on some of those other things, leave it until your ground temperature warms up, and then plant them, usually end of April, 1st of May.
And I suppose it goes without saying that if you do plant anything right now, be really careful or very tentative about watering, right?
Right. You don't want to overwater. Stuff isn't going to be utilizing a lot of water. You always water things in when you plant, and then don't water every day like you think it's supposed to. Like in the summertime, everybody thinks, I got to water every day. You don't have to water every day if they're in the ground. Most of the ground will hold the moisture real well.
Okay.
So kind of dig down beside your plants and see if you've got moisture, and if you do, leave them alone.
Okay. Now, what about, I had a lady call me after our show last week, and she said, are you going to talk about landscaping and changing the outward appearance of your home and your property? Can Miss Vicki give us any tips on that? And I said, I would bring it up, so I have. There you go.
Well, landscaping is one way. If you're thinking about selling your home or wanting to improve the value of your home, sprucing up, doing the landscaping, putting in new shrubs. A lot of your shrubs overgrow, they get old, and you just cannot trim them anymore. It's best to pull some of them out, put in new ones, and start over again.
Okay.
Is one of the better ways to do it. And you just kind of have to, kind of look at them. If you're pruning on some evergreens and you got more brown than you got green, jerk them out and start with new.
Okay.
So they run their course after a while. But if you're getting ready to sell your place, putting down fresh bark, some nice fresh rock, putting in some color plants that are going to be easy care, and that type of thing. You can give it a whole new look by just adding some daylilies, some different things like that that'll bloom easy care throughout the summer. The bark and the rock just cleans it up, makes it look nice and neat, and spruce up with that way. And you can put quite a bit of extra money on your house just by a landscaping situation.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And not only that, but when you pull into your own driveway and you stop at the beginning of the driveway and look down your property, it just makes you feel good.
Well, it does. When you put the new bark down or the rock, I'm a firm believer in rock in our area with our wind. It doesn't blow away as easy. And I just think it looks cleaner. It's kind of an investment because if you put your weed mat down underneath it and put your rock down, if it happens to get dusty or dirty and you can't wash it through, you can always pick it up off that weed mat, wash it, and put it right back down again.
Okay.
Bark,
all right.
you can't. You throw it away and put new.
Okay. Well,
So,
you know,
I mean, to me, the rock is really a classy, it's a permanent investment. You don't have to keep replacing it.
absolutely. And now, you got river rock, and what else have you got over there?
Well, we have the Montana River Rock, which is the colored river rock. It looks really pretty. It has all the blues, greens, purples, pinks, everything in it.
Okay.
2 different sizes of that. Then we have a gray granite that is almost the same price as bark, and it goes down. It looks really nice. It's kind of a charcoal gray shaded out into a white sparkle. That looks really nice. It's real clean. Looks really nice looking down in a yard. Doesn't draw a lot of heat because it's not the black. It's a variegated look.
Okay.
And then we have a nice flat tan rock called bronze aggregate, and it goes down kind of flat, but it has a nice clean kind of a creamy golden color with some dark brown, a little bit of brown streaks through it, and occasionally a little bit of green.
Holy smokes, I've never talked to anybody in my life that sounds highly emotional over the color rocks.
Like I say, I do like the rock because it's for people. I mean, it's a one-time investment. You put it down and you can spray it with Roundup if you do get a weed in there. You can wash it down. You know, it doesn't mold and turn white and ugly color with our water. I mean, it does a good job.
Well, now tell everybody when you are open at Vicky's Country Garden.
Well, we open at 9 in the morning, and we're here till at least 5 in the evenings right now, Monday through Friday. Saturdays, it's 9 to about 3 or 4, kind of depending on how busy we are. And we're still closed on Sundays. But hours will be lengthening as the weather warms and as people require it. We usually stay later. If my car's out here, my red Tahoe, 9 times out of 10, I'm here. That might be 11 o'clock at night, but I'm still here.
Yeah, but we want to issue a safety warning, too, though, that if anybody's driving by Vicky's Country Garden and it's a windy night and you see a lady clinging to plastic, waving in the wind, please stop and help her.
Yeah, grab my foot and anchor me, will you?
Vicky, God bless you. Thank you. We'll send everybody over to 185 South, 600 West of Paul, Vicky's Country Garden. I'm going to raise my chair level. I'm almost down on the floor right now, and I've got to get elevated. You have a great day, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday, pardon me.
All right, Zeb, that'll work.
All right, take care. Vicky's Country Garden with a program called Gardening for Idiots, named after me. And she really lays a lot of information on us with gardening and taking care of the landscaping of your home, everything at Vicky's Country Garden. No kidding, my chair is getting lower and lower and lower. I don't know what happened to this darn thing. I spent a lot of money on this chair, and it doesn't like me for some reason. Anyway, I think we better have the weather forecast, and then I'll stand up and try to fix this. Deanne, during the weather with Gina, can you give me a hand with this chair? Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, tax return preparation, tax planning, of course, retirement planning, all of this, and they're so busy right now. Holy smokes, they're burning the midnight oil, getting all your taxes finished. Yes, they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, the best serving you with offices in Burley and Rupert. Gina, talk slow. I got to fix my chair.
Wow, it's going to be a nice day today. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting partly sunny skies. The high, almost 70. 69 is what they're calling for the high today. Winds out of the east, southeast at about 10 miles an hour. Be coming out of the south this afternoon. Winds could gust up to about 20 miles an hour. Tonight, we do have a 40% chance of showers in the forecast. Mostly cloudy skies with a low of 44. Tomorrow, 20% chance of rain showers in the afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, at least for most of the day, with a high close to 60 by Wednesday night. Showers are likely with a low of 37. For Thursday, we do have a chance of rain showers off and on all day long. Some thunderstorms in the afternoon are possible as well. Cloudy skies and a high of 45. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
And thank you. We are back. We are back. We are elevated. The chair is fixed temporarily. And our thanks go out to our friends at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And, of course, we've been going there for a long time. I urge you to give them a call. They can help you. They can help people starting a business or maybe changing over to a partnership or a corporation, or maybe you think about expanding and going with more employees. All of this information to help you, your family, and your business with Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company in Burley and in Rupert. All right, your turn. I've got time for some calls. Give me a jingle on the landline, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, talking about this chair, it's just really funny because you'd be sitting there and you see I've got a clock right across from me that is a big clock. It's about 8 inches wide, 8 inches tall, and all of a sudden I noticed over the rim of my glasses it kept getting higher and higher and higher. And I'm sinking during that interview with Miss Vicky. Anyhow, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in regarding any subject we've talked about so far this morning, I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. The real tough professionals, really good to get the job done. They know and they can help you. Absolutely. Highway 24 in Rupert. Dedicated and responsive to your needs, very accessible. All you need to do is just give them a call. Make an appointment at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance in Rupert. You give them a call today. All right, my turn. Give me a call, please, at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd like to hear from you. Gee, I'm expecting any moment to hear a little knock on the door, and Dr. History should be showing up for the next hour, and he'll be on the program. But while we have just a moment, give us a call quickly. I'd like to visit with you. This will be probably the last time I will mention this, and it is a college credit course. And you're going, well, what's the course? Well, it's a course in fishing. I'm not making this up. It's going to be taught by the regional conservation educator, Kelton Hatch of the Idaho Fish and Game, and it's called Wild About Fishing. And if you'd like to be involved in this Wild About Fishing, it's going to be this Friday and Saturday afternoon, April 13th and 14th, at the Jerome, Idaho Department of Fish and Game office. And all you need to do is call, though, first of all, and let them know that you want to be a part of this course, Wild About Fishing, 324-4359. That number again, 324-4359. And Kelton Hatch, the incredible bulk, is the teacher. Going to be interesting. Deanna, I think what we did not work, and we're going lower and lower again. We might have to change chairs. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I'd like to visit with you about any subject this morning that you have on your mind, and love to hear from you, so give us a jingle. We also had a public service announcement, and I lost it. I had it. It was for our friends. Here it is. The lost is found. And Marion Wickham, she sent it to me, from the Rupert United Methodist Church at 605 H Street in Rupert, and they're going to have their annual yard sale. I mean, gather up all the stuff out of the attic and the basement and everything. They're going to have their annual yard sale for the Rupert United Methodist Church And that's going to be on Saturday, May 5th. You realize that's not that far away? And it's going to start at 8 in the morning and go till 2. And it's an annual event that helps support the ministries of the church and the community. And donations are welcome. And for more information, please call the church office at 436-3354. That number again, 436-3354. Rupert United Methodist Church on 8th Street in Rupert. Great big yard sale. What we are going to do during the break is try to fix the chair. And then we're going to come back with Dr. History in just a very few moments, and followed by Jeff Cantor. He's going to be on the air at 10:30 this morning talking about healthcare issues in this country and how the Democrats all of a sudden saw the light and they want to turn healthcare and the economy into part of their platform. They should have been thinking about it a long time ago. But right now we're going to send it over to Wheels, and he has this great word for Tommy Ahlquist, and then he'll take us up to CBS News. Oh, my. Welcome back to hour number 3 already. Boy, it seems like we've only done this for 2 hours. Anyway, we're going to have Dr. History coming up in just a moment. Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a big spring tire sale right now. And also some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Want to remind you, too, about Airvana, defined as the ultimate level of comfort you'll achieve with the presence of a new Lennox home comfort system. And when you buy a new Lennox system at Ramsey Heating and Electric, you can get up to $1,700 in rebates. Airvana is just another way to make you feel better. So call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or visit them on the website, ramseysonline.com. We are in the middle of political season for the primaries, and Tim Darrington wants your vote to be reelected for Cassia County Commissioner on May 15th. He has been a success in receiving much of the needed funding for the weather event on behalf of the Cassia County Commissioners. Also very instrumental in updating county policy for employee reimbursement and proactive in updating county software. He wants to continue serving you in Cassia County. Don't forget, on May 15th, re-elect Tim Darrington, Cassia County Commissioner, paid for by Darrington for Commissioner, Gail Erickson, Treasurer. Well, right now, storming in the door with all of his books and his notebooks and everything else, we say a good morning to an old, heavy on the emphasis, old friend of mine, Dr. History.
Good morning, Zeb.
Morning, buddy.
Doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Not a bad day out there. Kind of nice.
You know, and it's no kidding. You do a lot of research
I do.
on a lot of stories, and you told me, and I don't think you want to keep this a secret, that when you travel around the country, you go to a lot of bookstores and find interesting historical books.
I love to go to old bookstores because I find books where a lot of times I can buy them for a couple of dollars.
Yeah, I know. You had a book last week that absolutely piqued my interest, and you said you found that for like $2 or $3.
Yeah.
It was a book that probably sold originally for $40.
Probably big, thick.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
So,
in other words, you're a cheapskate.
that's exactly right. So I'm going to start out. I want to say hi to a few people. All right?
Okay, go ahead.
I want to say hi to Elby, who lives up in Rigby. He's a long-haul truck driver. I want to say hi to Rob in England that sent me some comments.
England.
In England, Rob.
Now, stop right there, because for those that think this is just a little bitty local program, boy, have you got another thing coming.
And Jeff, and another one that I want to mention is a guy named Dan in Chicago.
Really?
Dan is the one that sent me this picture that I'm showing you, that I have already showed you.
Of the Pinkerton.
The Pinkerton Detective Agency.
Yeah.
This is where there's a historical marker that was put up by the Boy Scout Troop 35 in 1968 that shows this where Alan Pinkerton originated.
Now, he started it, right?
Right, exactly.
And the Pinkertons were really feared in the Old West.
In fact, we've done shows about the Pinkertons. And anyway, I just wanted to thank those people for listening. And
absolutely.
And especially Dan for sending me that picture. Thanks, Dan.
And Butch and Sundance kept looking over their shoulder at those guys.
Oh, yeah, they did. So today we're going to talk about and I'm going to stick my neck out again, someone that I don't think anybody has heard about, and if you have, let me know. All right?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. So Ouray was the chief of the Ute Indians, and we're going to kind of go back here. He was going along, and Ouray. He did not realize that the danger he faced as he traveled to the Los Pinos Indian Agency. This is in 1872. The federal government had officially recognized him as the leader of the Utes. But and this is down in Utah, in that area, Colorado. But some tribal members resented his authority and blamed him when the government broke its treaty promises. Well, 5 Utes had decided they were going to kill this guy.
Oh, man.
All right?
The government messed up, but yet poor old Ouray going to take the blame.
He's going to take the blame. And
right.
So anyway, when he got to where he was going, or just before, at the last minute, the guys that were going to kill him decided they wouldn't kill him, except for one guy. His name was Sapavanero. Okay?
You're doing good so far.
Thank you.
Sapavanero.
Now, Sapavanero happened to be the stepbrother of Ouray's wife.
What was her name?
Chapita.
You got all that.
Chapita. Now, stay with me here.
Okay, I'm trying.
Okay, so as Ouray hitched his horse to a post at the agency, Sapavanero jumped out from a hiding spot. Now, this is his brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
Really.
Yeah, I got that.
He had an axe.
Uh-oh.
Well, Ouray kind of sensed that something was wrong. He jumped aside just as his brother-in-law swung the axe at his head. Well, Ouray must have been a pretty good stout guy because he tackled Sapavanero and grabbed him by the throat.
Uh-huh.
But before he could take his revenge, Chapita, who was standing there, snatched his knife from his scabbard, and her quick reflexes basically saved her stepbrother's life but more importantly, she avoided a split among the Ute leaders.
Okay, no, wait a minute. She stabbed Sapavanero.
No. She just took Ouray's knife so he couldn't kill.
Boy.
So I guess they got up and I don't think they shook hands and left friends.
Do you have a program I can follow to follow the numbers of who's playing?
Okay, we only got 3 so far.
Okay, so
just remember Ouray and Chapita.
Got it.
Husband and wife.
Got it.
Ouray is the chief of the Utes.
Right.
All right. So he almost got killed by his brother-in-law.
Sapavanero.
Okay, so let's go back. Chapita was well thought of by her own people and was always allowed, and this is a little unusual, often especially invited to take part in the council meetings. No other Ute women were ever allowed, and rarely, that.
Sounds like Michelle Obama.
Well, Chapita was Chapita.
Okay.
But she was born in 1843 to Kiowa Apache parents who were killed by Indian raiders when she was still a baby. Now, a band of Utes actually found her crawling around her parents' ransacked camp. They raised her and named her Chapita, which has been translated as meaning white singing bird or the charitable one. So that's what, all the Indians' names usually had some kind of a meaning.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Chapita's husband, Ouray, was one of the Utes' most respected hunters and warriors. And when his first wife died in 1859, Chapita began caring for his son, whose name was Perron.
Oh, wait a minute now. Perron.
Okay, that's the son. Okay. Well, she kind of impressed Ouray with her intelligence and her beauty. Ouray was 26, but he asked Chapita, then who was 16, to marry him, and she did, which, again, age is that's not unusual at all.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what one of the historians said about Chapita. Here's what he said. She was a typical Ute wife of the time, hardworking, shy, quiet, and the person who did almost all of the day-to-day household work, which would have included tanning Ouray's deer skins and elk skins to use for sewing his clothes and moccasins, cooking, including preparing dried meats, hauling wood, and carrying water. Chapita helped raise Perron, which would have been her stepson,
right,
and loved him as her own child.
Okay.
So
at 16?
Yeah, but they knew how to work. and they worked hard, you know. So anyway, Chipeta was devastated as Ouray when, kind of a bad thing, when Sioux warriors raided their hunting camp near, kind of north of Denver in 1863, and they kidnapped Perone, Ouray's son. Well, the Sioux later gave the boy to a group of Arapahoes who were traditional enemies of the Utes. Chipeta and Ouray spent years searching for him. Federal officials once tried to help get Perón, but they never
found him.
Never did find him. He was never reunited. So, but you know, a lot of times once they went to another tribe, they over the years would gradually become a member of that tribe.
You know, I don't mean to interrupt you. Yes, I do, because I have a question. But when you talk about that, they didn't have social media or anything like that to say so and so is missing and look for him. How did they get the word out that their son might be captive in a certain tribe?
The only way that usually happened was maybe some trappers, some mountain men might be visiting a particular tribe.
I see.
And they'll see perhaps a white child or a white woman. And in the course of traveling, they might say, yeah, we saw this particular child somewhere.
Okay.
So, anyway, but now Ouray and Chipeta, they actually had no children of their own, but they adopted 3 young Utes, and by tribal custom, Ouray could have married another woman who could bear him children, but he refused to do so because he loved Chipeta. They really were. But now, when gold was discovered near Pikes Peak in 1859, the white prospectors and settlers flooded Colorado, and as usual, confrontation between them and the natives tribes escalated, and when Indians were shot without cause, you know, some of the Utes wanted to retaliate, which, you know, you would.
Absolutely.
Well, Ouray had already distinguished himself as a skilled hunter, a ferocious warrior, but he realized that the Utes could never drive off the settlers, kind of like Chief Joseph. You know, you could see the writing on the wall.
Well, what happened to the brother-in-law, though?
Doesn't mention him anymore. I think he moved away.
With his axe.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
But, you know, he knew they couldn't drive off the settlers, and there were simply too many of them. He advised his people to try to live alongside the whites and negotiate treaties that would preserve their way of life. As a result, he became known as the Peace Chief.
Really?
Yeah. So one early settler in northwestern Colorado, a guy by the name of David S. Gray, remembered an occasion during his childhood when he met Ouray face to face. And what he says is a group of Indians had surrounded the Gray family's new home one day in the late 1870s, and Gray and his brothers and sisters, they were scared. They took off running. Well, one of the Indians raced after them on horseback and assured the children that there was no problem. They weren't in danger.
Now, these were Ute Indians.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But they were around this David Gray's house where he was growing up. But David says that this Indian that talked to him said he spoke excellent English and seemed much disturbed at having caused so much excitement. And Gray later recalled that party was Chief Ouray and his family.
Thank goodness, and possibly you or I protecting our families, maybe we would have fired a bad shot at the wrong time.
Yeah, but he goes on, he says, we saw many Indians in the years that followed. They were always friendly, and he says very hungry.
This was in the 1870s.
Yeah.
I thought most of the conflict had been
settled.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting towards that end.
I see. Okay.
Now, Ouray had no close male friends. He actually preferred to spend time with Chipeta. Despite the commonly held Ute belief that women were inferior to men and should be ignored as much as possible, as I mentioned, Chipeta had the respect of the other Utes, too, because of her beauty, her intelligence. Some of the Indian agents referred to her as the queen of the Utes.
Really?
So very high standing in the community. But Chipeta actively supported her husband's peace policies. She lobbied other tribal leaders and joined Ouray on trips to Washington, D.C.
No kidding.
You know, this happened several times with Indians trying to go back and talk to the people in Washington.
When they went back, did they have kind of a entourage that went with them?
I don't know that. I don't know if they had very many that went with them.
You wouldn't want to jump on a train by yourself.
Well, maybe not. But they went back to Washington, D.C. to discuss treaties with the federal officials. And on one trip in 1880, Chipeta says, quote, with her native charm and dignity became the darling of Washington society. So they took a liking to her.
Wow.
Now, according to one author, he says, quote, she was dressed in Victorian finery and was given valuable gifts of silk dresses, gloves, silver pieces for her home. So they really liked her back then. Anyway, well, Chipeta and Ouray eventually settled on a productive 300-acre farm on the western slopes of the Colorado Rockies. So they were peaceful. Okay.
How did they make the money to pay for the farm?
Well, I don't know.
That's twice.
Well, okay, wait a minute.
Okay.
Maybe this will answer that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, federal agents deeded the farm to Ouray and agreed actually to pay him $1,000 in return for his willingness to work with them as chief of the Utes. So it was kind of a pay.
I see.
All right. So anyway, over the years, Ouray, who spoke several languages, negotiated treaties that guaranteed specific lands for the Utes in return for other land and government aid, which we know didn't always come to pass.
Amen. Yeah.
But anyway, to encourage assimilation, Ouray and Chipeta actually started wearing white men's clothes, adopted their customs. They entertained white friends, and they actually had a 16-room adobe house. They served meals on china. They entertained by playing the piano and guitar and singing. Kind of an unusual picture here.
I wonder at that point what the other Indians thought of them.
That's it. And that may have not been good. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the couple's life, the comfortable life, was kind of shattered in 1879 when some other Utes, called the White River Utes, rebelled against a guy named Nathan Meeker, and he was kind of one of those bad Indian agents. Anyway, they killed him and just kind of started a little bit of a war.
Now, where was that at?
That would have been over in Colorado.
I see.
Anyway, so in the wake of the Meeker killings, the white settlers demanded that the federal government remove the Utes from Colorado. Now, despite Ouray's efforts to reestablish peace, in 1880 the officials canceled the Utes' treaty rights to their 12 million acre homeland in Colorado. And then they prepared to move them to eastern Utah, and once again to the land that the whites didn't want.
Right.
Well, Ouray continued to urge the Utes to live peacefully with the whites. In 1880, at the age of 47, he died while on a treaty mission.
At 47?
Yeah, but a lot of them didn't last that long, you know.
Really.
Well, with his death, Chipeta lost her influence, and when a white settler wanted her farm in 1881, this nice 300 acres with this nice home, she was forced to leave. She joined 1,400 other Utes on a forced march to a reservation in a place called Bitter Creek in Utah, and that's several hundred miles east of current-day Provo, Utah.
East.
Yep.
You can't go several hundred miles.
Well, from Provo out towards, what's it called, the Flaming Gorge area.
Oh, okay,
out that direction.
Gotcha.
So she joined 1,400 Utes on a forced march to this reservation, and officials promised her a new home as nice as her old one. She was given an unfurnished 2-room place with unplastered walls, no water. Yeah, it wasn't.
She had been accustomed to be a
very
wealthy person.
Yeah. So anyway, what historians do know is that Chipeta, kind of disillusioned by the government's treatment of her people, eventually abandoned anything to do with the white culture. She reverted to the nomadic Indian life she had known as a child. Her days in Utah were filled with kind of indignities. Once in 1857, armed white men rode into her camp while she was gathering food with other Ute women. The men threatened to kill them, and then they burned their camp to the ground, and the women escaped. Just another, bad deal here. So
no reason to be that inhumane.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Yeah. But as Chipeta got older, she reverted to living in a teepee now. So here she was, from a 16-room house now to a teepee.
Wow.
And she was nearly blind with cataracts and suffered from rheumatism. Now here we are in 1916. She was 73.
Wow.
That's getting up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Be careful how you say that.
73 for back then.
Yeah, okay. Be careful.
Okay.
All right.
But a sympathetic Indian Affairs official visited her at Bitter Creek to see if he could do anything for her. She replied, quote, "I desire nothing. What is good enough for my people is good enough for me, and I expect to die very soon." So she kind of gone full circle here.
I guess.
So Chipeta lived on for 8 more years. She died in 1924.
Wow.
And was buried in a ravine near Utah's Book Cliffs. And I'm not exactly sure where that is. I think that's still kind of in that towards that Flaming Gorge area.
Yeah.
But the following year, when friends worried that her remains might wash away in a flash flood, they reburied her near her old farm a couple of miles south of Montrose, Utah. And more than 5,000 people formed a procession a mile long as they came to pay tribute to her memory.
5,000?
5,000.
Woo.
The honor contrasted starkly with the last days of her life when she had lived basically unknown. But finally, Coloradoans had recognized the important role that she played in Western history.
And no children.
No. But today, there's actually a 9-acre historic site where Chipeta is buried. It's called the Ouray Memorial Park. And it actually features the Ute Indian Museum, Chipeta's large granite tomb, and a tall stone monument to Ouray. And it's, quote, "It is somehow fitting that Colorado's largest and finest tribute to any Indian or Indian tribe is located at this spot, a spot first given to Ouray and Chipeta, then taken away from them, and finally dedicated to their memory."
You said something earlier, and I want a clarification on that. Montrose, Colorado, I think you meant, instead of Montrose,
I'm
Utah.
sorry.
Yeah, yes. I was going to say, I know where that is. Yeah.
Okay. So here's a person that I think would make a great movie if they would follow.
Isn't that interesting? I was just thinking the same thing.
What an amazing life to go from.
Do you have a picture of the lady?
I do not. There's don't have any pictures here. But to go from basically being adopted by the Ute Indians, from her
now she
biological.
was white, right?
No, she was an Indian.
She was an Indian.
Yeah, she was. Okay. Like say she was kidnapped and then, her parents were killed.
Yeah.
And by Kiowa Apaches. The Kiowa Apache were her parents.
Right.
They were killed, but the Utes are the ones that found her and brought her up, adopted her.
So she basically lived almost double the age of Ouray.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, back in those days, to live even past 60 is quite unusual.
Yeah.
So she was close to like 81.
That's an interesting story. I'd like to go down and see that.
I would too. When I see these things, I think, I really want to go visit that place. So, maybe one day.
We need to get a van that says Dr. History on the side of it.
and I'm buying it, right?
Well, that was my premise, yeah. But anyway, we need to have this van, and we need to go tour all these historical sites.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be something?
Just spend a couple of weeks.
We could do it radio and television.
Well, okay.
Yeah. We got to go first class, man.
All right. Well, the van...
We'll be like that Texas Country Reporter.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't you ever seen that television show? It's a great show. And I can't think, Bob is the guy that films it. And he's got a film crew that goes with him in the van and his wife. And they go all over Texas to all these different historical places.
Yeah.
We could do the same thing here.
We could. There's a lot of stuff just here in Idaho.
In a lot of cases, it might not be historical. It might be hysterical.
Well, with you, what can we say?
No, but that'd be fun.
Oh, I'd love to. Just go to the places I have, like the Custer Battlefield.
Oh, that's eerie. That was really eerie. Yeah. That bothered me. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Yeah, but in Cody, Wyoming, the Buffalo Bill Museum.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's a lot of great
We could have a lot of fun doing that.
It would be great.
We wouldn't have to work another day of our life.
We'd be living in a van
the money
down
would
by
be
the river.
Flowing in. What are we going to talk about next week?
That's a great question.
Oh, okay. Well, it deserves an answer.
I'm going to leave you hanging.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody in England and Taiwan and everywhere else that you're thanking them?
Rob in England, thank you very much. I love England. I've been there a couple of times. And, of course, Dan in Chicago, LB up in Rigby. Jeff, appreciate your comments. And
the gentleman in Chicago, is he a Cubs fan, I hope?
He did not say that.
Find out. Okay.
He did say he may be coming out to Idaho, though. And
well, we'll
if he
treat him
does,
first class. We are going to take him out to dinner. We're going to take him to all the social events. And you, of course, have volunteered to pay for the whole thing.
That was just assumed.
That's right. Thanks, Doctor.
You bet.
All
you
right, don't go away. I got to talk to you in a minute.
Okay.
All right, don't forget Dr. History every Tuesday. He does a great job on these stories. I love that story. Anyway, every Tuesday at 10:06. I want to also remind you about what's going on Thursdays at 10:10, and that's, of course, Cassia County School Days, and it's brought to you by two wonderful sponsors, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. Oh, they've got all the spring clothing going into the summer, and they've got all the baby furniture and all kinds of different birthday presents. Oh, and they wrap for free, and they also have all the Cherokee scrubs. You better stop in and see that store. It's a family store, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And teaming up with Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland as the other sponsor of Cassia County School Days. And they can help you with your outpatient surgeries such as life-saving colonoscopies and many, many more. Please call and get more information. They can and they will help you at Ambulatory Surgery Center in Burley. Number to call, 677-8888. Along with A Child's World, bringing you School Days in Cassia County on Thursdays at 10:10. Right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studio, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you much. And before we get right into our next guest and that segment, we need to have this good word for Tommy Ahlquist.
Professional politicians say the darndest things to get elected. Take 17-year professional politician Brad Little. In his TV ads, candidate Brad Little claims to support traditional marriage, but the record shows politician Brad cast the deciding vote against defining marriage as between a man and a woman. Candidate Brad Little claims to believe life is precious, but politician Brad cast the deciding vote to give your tax dollars to liberal, pro-abortion providers like Planned Parenthood. Candidate Raul Labrador claims to be tough on illegal immigration, but the record shows 12-year professional politician Raul was one of only 3 Republicans to allow illegal immigrants to receive taxpayer-funded health care benefits. If we can't trust professional politicians Brad Little and Raul Labrador on traditional marriage, abortion, or illegal immigration, how can we trust them on anything? Little, Labrador, 29 years is long enough. Paid for by Tommy for Idaho. Orville Thompson, Treasurer.
Thank you very much. And right now, let's get right into it. He's probably sick and tired of waiting on me, and that's Jeff Cantor, healthcare insurance expert. Good morning, sir. He's been on the program before. How you doing?
I am very good. How are you there today, Zeb?
Not too bad. I noticed in the information sheet that it's been put out that the Democrats are really pushing candidates to focus on health care. Gee, Jeff, wouldn't it have been wise to focus on it years ago instead of now all of a sudden have an epiphany that something's wrong?
Well, perfect time to have a hissy fit. It's going to be campaigning season, so why not run on whatever the heck you think is going to be good? And, they seem to be scrambling around for a message, and all their candidates seem to be from one extreme to the other, so they're trying to get somebody on one single message so we can all beat that dead horse for a while.
Well, the first 4 letters of the word message are mess, and that's what I think healthcare is in this country. If you were the man that could wave the magic wand, what would you do or not do to solve the problem?
Well, basically, as we've discussed in past shows, is you just need to abandon the whole thing the way it's configured because it's like having an abusive spouse. We keep going back to the government or insurance companies or whatever and say, please help us, and they've turned a deaf ear up till now, or they just want to control everything or make money on everything. So why even play with those people? There's plenty of doctors that'll accept cash, private freestanding MRI facilities, compounding pharmacies. There's plenty of ways to escape. And now there are ways to get that stuff paid for, too.
Jeff, you're the professional on this, and I bow to your throne with your knowledge on this, but are we any further ahead today than we were at the inception of Obamacare or, on the other side of that nickel, are we a lot worse off?
Well, that's a good question, and it's, of course, a mixed bag, because new things are happening that probably wouldn't have happened had we not had Obamacare. But some of the stuff we did have prior to Obamacare has kind of been destroyed. So now this is part of this solution, is kind of reconstituting a lot of stuff. Where you're seeing a lot of, as an example, doctors that had a private practice and then got bought up by a hospital chain and didn't like that. So now they're going back into private practice, but they're becoming direct primary care or a concierge doctor. So a lot of the old guard's kind of figured out how to reconform itself, and that's only been capable because, one, nothing got fixed, for one, so the prices are escalating and driving the consumers away. And then, at the same time, the president took away some of the stuff like the mandate and some other stuff that opened up and allowed the association models to occur. So now there's new creativities emerging that wouldn't have been there before. It was what I was talking about.
Is there any way, and really, I got to tell you right up front, Chet, I am not a advocate of the government getting involved in health care. I'm one of these people that say, let's open up the lines of competition and come one, come all, and the buyer beware, and the buyer go and find the best product for themselves and their family. I don't want the government to get involved in it because I know as well as I'm sitting here, it's going to end up in a single-payer coverage. Am I wrong?
No, it would definitely be down to that. I mean, government always thinks of everything in the most simplistic terms, so one size fits all is always the rule of the day. And you know the variations you need within the health world, so that's not going to be helpful for all of us. And it's just going to add costs and regulations and layers of bureaucracy. I mean, look what's happened with these, medical records, rules and regulations. You go to see a doctor and they hardly look at you in the eye for more than a minute, and then they have to type endlessly. And the sad reality is it's great to have medical records, but, like what we're pushing and what we promote is, why don't you have your records yourself? Why are your records everywhere else but in your possession? So if you had them, then they don't need to have all that kind of documentation per se, except that individual doctor. And if they need to look at your records, you have them. So once you travel somewhere else, what are you going to try to call from Europe and get your records? I have with me all times. In our system we have a QR code that accesses all your records, so you have everything. That makes more sense, but that's what you're talking about. That's where the individual's in control for a change. And everything else you just described, I didn't hear you mention an individual one time.
Yeah.
Companies, government, this, that, whatever, didn't have anything to do with you and me.
Yeah. So how do you transition society? And believe me, I'm on your page. I believe it. How do you transition people into taking control and being aware of their own health needs, their own health care, and just basically taking care of their own life? How do you get people to be self-responsible?
It is a bit of a challenge, and that's the task we have at hand. I mean, you're getting the word out. We've got our program for people to make use of, but you don't even need that necessarily. Just like you said, if I knew where to look and what to do, I could start to help myself by changing my diet and a variety of other things that doesn't require some outside assistance. So we have a variety of things we're doing to get the word out, and this is going to keep growing. There's a great collection of videos of all sorts of very important medical people that can give you some sound advice, and at the conclusion of which there's information about them. So if you find something that's compelling to you, you can start to be in touch with that person. And I would tell your listeners to go to thehealthfreedomhub.com.
Okay. But I guess...
And then on top of that, there's a publication that's emerging that we're involved in, and a bunch of other stuff we'll share as time goes by, but that's a beginning place to start to get a chance to see who's out there waiting for you when you're willing to turn your back on government and insurance and meddling in your health care life. These are 60-some people, I think, are in their interviews currently of people that can't wait to help you out and are educating and promoting the idea of government being out of health care.
It sounds exciting to me, and more every day in all circumstances. I'm withdrawing from the flood of information that everybody else has on me, and I'm withdrawing into my own information sources and only giving out what I want to give out. But healthcare has got so big and so completely out of control, and the government wants to keep their finger on it and their thumb in the pie. How do we change this? I love your concepts.
Basically just what I said. I mean, it's like anything. You're only a leader as long as you have followers, and if you keep looking out and little by little the pews keep emptying out, eventually you're standing in an empty hall there. And that's really what it comes down to, because all these organizations don't take insurance, so they'll they work with us, but basically they're basically a non-insurance accepting entity, and they don't take government subsidies. They don't work with Medicare patients. They've abandoned all of that stuff. So they're just like going to a corner gas station and just an independent person in business like any other business on the street, but they just happen to be in the medical business. And interestingly, their prices are a lot less because they have less overhead, less work involved in what they're doing, so they spend more time with that patient. And on the net aggregate, you're going to save money as a consumer. You're going to love the relationship because they're so happy to be in business, to being a doctor again. And the bulk of these practices grow almost exclusively by word-of-mouth referrals, which is a true testament to the quality of what they're doing.
What about the medical profession itself, Jeff? Since Obamacare and all the mess thereafter, we had threats of doctors are going to be leaving their practices because of all the regulations and everything. How bad is that situation right now as far as new people getting involved in the medical profession or a great retiring of the masses? Are they leaving the industry?
Yes, well, you're sort of seeing, a lot of them are aging out for sure, and many, because of what you described, are taking early retirement, sometimes as early as in their 50s. If they've got enough time and money banked away, they'll just do something else as their second career. And the kind of students that they're bringing in, the same eager people, although some are being dissuaded to bring in. I mean, I've had people tell me that doctors say, I told my kid to become a welder. It's less stressful and you'll make more money. So the shine's off the apple a little bit. But still, there's always that people that want to help somebody. They can't wait to be a nurse or whatever, or a doctor that may be. But the problem is what they're being educated now, and especially with the idea of the government being in control of data or everything being so singular that the student or the doctor doesn't need to know too much. They almost need to know kind of where to go look stuff up. So the art of the doctor that's retiring out who can just look at your face and this and that and just knows so much from all those years of experience, that idea of a doctor having that kind of remnant of information is escaping us because they want to drive to the idea of an artificial intelligence where you don't even need a doctor. You walk in there and you talk to Hal. You just look at the little computer, the little TV camera and just talk to that, and that's going to help cure your problems. But that's a fallacy. And no one wants to talk to a machine. They want to hear that you have cancer or something from another human being. So the doctor will not go away. It's up to us to patronize the kind of doctors that we prefer, and guess what? Then they will flourish. And if you abandon support, and one of the keys I tell everybody, and this was told me by many doctors that are in this area, ask that doctor you're about to see if they are independent or if they are employed. And if they're employed, get up and leave.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about research, Jeff? Is there a laxity of what's going on in research, be it for cancer or multiple sclerosis, whatever? Are we seeing a lessening of the research values and people getting into medical research?
No, it's very interesting what is actually happening on that. I think more of it has to do with the approach to what we're talking about in the way of wellness and what is health. Because historically, in our country, it's been real big in the last, several 50 years, let's say, of just treating symptoms all day long. Oh, you're diabetic. Okay, let's put you on these pills. And there's really no discussion about modifying diets to any great degree or any other understanding of food and all the rest of that impacts that side of it. But that has changed because there's more people know GMO and organic foods, and the doctors that are all about that, and now this emergence of functional medicine has made our westernized approach thinking, wait a minute, we're wasting a lot of time researching these drugs when we should be researching these other areas. And that's the transformation that's starting to take place right now, that we're beginning to realize that a lot of these problems are cured. You can cure diabetes in a lot of instances, and you can reduce and cure cancers and so on. So we're going to see a shift. And so more research is going to start to go in that direction. And then obviously if the government opens things up for medical marijuana, you'll see far more research start to emerge in that. In fact, right now the world leader in medical marijuana is Israel. Interestingly.
I did not know that. Anything finally to wrap up this segment that you think people need to know or do and instill some more self-responsibility into their health care? Any final thoughts?
Well, I would certainly tell them they can certainly spend a little time Googling around. Look for direct primary care doctors or cash pay doctors or cash pay MRI centers or surgical centers. If you're starting to try to be a consumer and price shop around. And then they're certainly welcome to take a look at our program, which is healthexcellenceplus.com.
Absolutely. Jeff, I appreciate it. Jeff Cantor, he's been on the program before. He will be back again. Thank you, sir. God bless, and have a wonderful day. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks again, Zeb, and thank you, listeners, as well.
Thank you, sir. Very interesting gentleman that knows healthcare. You know, we got to be more self-responsible and take care of ourselves. And what he said is true. You've got to go in there, and I think everybody should have a little briefcase made up of all the different things that you've done and your health and everything. Your own records. I mean, that's your information. Why not be aware of it? And why not basically manage your own health care? All of us should. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, I'd really appreciate a call here about any subject we've talked about this morning. I've got a couple of minutes here that I would love to have you fill in. Now, we didn't go as long on that segment as we had planned. He had to curtail that with another one to go to, so I've got a little opening here. I'll do a weather forecast, and then maybe you'll call in and we'll discuss some other topic. Don't forget Scarrow's Meats. Hello, Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. Or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com, and you can find out all about the delicious meats at Scarrow's Meats. I mean, the marinated prime rib, oh, delicious. Along with the smoked hams and all the bacons and the sausages. Oh, it goes on and on. Delicious at Scarrow's Meats. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Wow, it's going to be a nice day today. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting partly sunny skies. The high, almost 70. 69 is what they're calling for the high today. Winds out of the east, southeast at about 10 miles an hour. Will be coming out of the south this afternoon. Winds could gust up to about 20 miles an hour. Tonight, we do have a 40% chance of showers in the forecast. Mostly cloudy skies with a low of 44. Tomorrow, 20% chance of rain showers in the afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, at least for most of the day, with a high close to 60 by Wednesday night. Showers are likely with a low of 37. For Thursday, we do have a chance of rain showers off and on all day long. Some thunderstorms in the afternoon are possible as well. Cloudy skies and a high of 45. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Great job again, Gina. Thank you very much. And brought to you this hour by Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Telephone number to call, 324-7657. Scarrow's Meats, they're changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Well, there they are. My next caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hello? Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Zeb.
Yes.
This is Bob again. Just wanted to tell you to keep your notices of your program. Kate Smith and Pledge. I think it's just great. I don't know what other people think. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I thank you for the kind words. No, when if I, which I never would, decide to change the opening, and some people say, well, we got to try something new. Why, you've got to try this. You've got to go with the times. No, I don't want to. I want to be the old boots out on the back porch. I want to represent what was good in this country and what worked in this country. And when I chose to have that every day, Kate Smith, God Bless America, there was a lady that was very well respected with her singing career, and some of the great tunes, including God Bless America, are standouts and stalwarts of what I want to have from the past, and I'm not going to change. And then, of course, you always have those that criticize you for being patriotic. I've had criticisms about asking for someone to come on and do the pledge every morning, and I can't say this loud enough, and I mean it. For those that take the time to come on the program and give the Pledge of Allegiance every morning, I absolutely thank you and respect you. No, I am not going to change anything. I'm going to stay the same. And for those that don't like it, they have alternatives. They can take two fingers, either the thumb and the forefinger or whatever, and they can turn the dial. I'm not going to change. We're going to stay patriotic. We're going to stay conservative. And if I don't like something that's been done or said in the area or the state or the nation, I'm going to criticize it. We have a lot of things that need to be changed, a lot of things that need to go back the way my slogan at the end of the program is said, the way things were are the way things ought to be. And that's a reference to family values, the values of this country, and our own personalities. So, there again, I appreciate the calls, but if you're looking for somebody to be a chameleon and change color and spots and everything, ain't gonna happen on this program. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget the Salmon Select Horse Sale and Mule Sale. It's going to be this weekend at the Lemhi County Fairgrounds up in Salmon. Oh, this is Idaho's premier horse and mule sale. They've got a whole bunch of horses. I think Fred said they got about 130 good horses up there for the sale this year, and a lot of mules, I think 66. This is going to start on Thursday with a great big breakfast at 7 o'clock, and then they've got activities all through the day, and then Friday the big mule sale, Saturday the big horse sale, along with all kinds of activities during the daytime up in Salmon. Don't forget, it's the Salmon Select Horse and Mule Sale at the Lemhi County Fairgrounds in Salmon this weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You be there. Okay. Let me see. Let's have another call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And tomorrow on the program, that is a great big up-in-the-air subject. We have had, one is sick, canceled. One's going to be on an airplane, canceled. And one, I couldn't find him. And so we're going to have a redo of all of our guests tomorrow. We do know that Dave Bego is going to be on from Indianapolis, Indiana at 9:06. And then from there, hey, I'm learning just like you are. We'll see who comes on the program tomorrow and who shows up. Going to be interesting. Want to remind you, too, about our friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Can't do it without them, and wouldn't do it without them. I'll say that. They have been so kind and so gracious to us over the many years that they've been the major sponsor of our program. And right now, all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers are having a big spring tire sale. What does that mean? Well, they've got all the tires for your driving of your cars, pickups, SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers. They've got them on sale, and you don't want to miss this. Tires like the Eclipse tire for your car. All-season traction, advanced tread design. Whoa, starting at just $61.97. You can't pass this up. Stop in and check out all the great tire buys, along with the best in brake service and front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this and more by people that really care with the best of service. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Lane in Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike in Buell, Mike in Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Yep, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All right, well, we are about ready to close up shop today. Wheels, good job again over there at the studio. And tomorrow, as I said, Dave Bego and others will be on the program. And we urge you to tune in. One quick reminder that we're going to be next week really getting into all the different political personalities that are going to be running for the primaries. So bear with us. We are going to have a lot of great people to talk about, and including all of our normal advertisers and sponsors. So it's going to get a little hectic, so bear with us and don't complain. It's only going to be for a short period of time, but we're going to do our best to try to serve all these great people that are running for political office. One of which is Tommy Alquist, and he's going to be coming up in just a moment. And then we're going to let Wheels take it up to CBS News under this. The way things were are the way things ought to be. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:06.